Hey everybody, happy Monday. Another budget deck video to help you with your standard climb. Not a lot has changed in the past 3-4 weeks. We are going to talk about some budget decks, but they are going to be a lot of the ones that we've seen in the past. I'd like to talk about the mini set cards that have been released so far to see if I feel if they're going to be impactful to the meta, even though it's not a full set yet. And we'll just go over some things that I've seen, some observations for the past 7 days. Looking at the meta overview right now, Treant Druid is just all over the place. If you're looking at bronze through gold last 7 days, it's right up there, tier 1. Don't forget, there's a lot of tier 2 decks above 50% win rate, so we're good there. Let's go to platinum. I mean, it's just right there with a little bit of Highlander Hunter, Earthen Paladin. Go to diamond. It's the same thing. Treant Druid is right there, just beating up on Aggro Paladin. Go to legend, and it's still there, Treant Druid. And then look, it goes, once it goes to top 1000 legend, it's now nature druid, but it's still druid, so it's a druid world right now. Remember, this is just the hsreplay.net's ratings. This doesn't mean that this is a full comprehensive look at what everybody is seeing, but I would be shocked if someone could tell me right now that they're not seeing a lot of druid in their playtime. One of the things that makes perfect sense is they're cheap decks, and they're very good, and they're very powerful against all the other classes. So going over a few more things, just wanted to go over in terms of budget decks what I've seen in the past 7 days. So we have a couple of Death Knights here to go through. We have Unholy. That's been pretty consistent for the past couple of weeks. Unholy here. We've got a regular low-cost Death Knight deck with a 57.6% win rate. I think we talked about it 2-3 weeks ago. And then, you know, Plague is right there. It's higher than the 5,000. Dust requirement that I'm trying to hit, but it's still very consistent. There's a lot of games being played with it, so if you have a lot of Death Knight cards, it's one of my favorite decks right now that I'm playing. Demon Hunter is still not anywhere where it should be. If you look at the win rates on the front page of hsreplay.net, it's the lowest win rate. It's the least played, I would imagine. There is a deck we're going to talk about, the Aggro Demon Hunter. I'll get to that in a few minutes, but that's about the only big thing I'm seeing is just Aggro Demon Hunter. Going through Druid, I mean, we talked about it. We've got Nature, we've got Treant, we've got Dragon. Going into Nature Druid, I only see 2 decks here. That doesn't mean that's the full, like I said, total representation of that archetype. But Nature Druid is very high up on high legend, and it is a little expensive, but I would imagine that there's probably a deck here or there that might be able to be lower cost than that. Just nothing I found really quick. But if you're playing Dragon Druid and you're playing Treant Druid, you're doing well in the meta right now. Hunter's very expensive. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I had a couple of Hunter decks. I had a Cleave Hunter and then just a Hunter deck. I think it was a Control Hunter deck that were below 5,000. They're still good. You just don't see them a lot representative because Arcane is so powerful and the win rates are so much higher. That's what's showing up, at least on HS Replays. Mage, you have 2 options. You have Elemental, which is strong. It looks like the mini set might make it even stronger. And then you also have Secret Mage that's rounding that out. Paladin is Aggro Paladin. It's not changed. There's also Showdown or what have you, but you know, there is some cards that are going to be leaving standard in a couple of weeks when the sets are changed and the core set is changed, and so there's going to be some differences with Paladin. We'll talk about the mini sets implications of that, and then Priest. The only thing that we have running for us right now is Undead. There's a lot of options. They're all low cost, and they're all 62 or 60% or 63%, so those are pretty good. Anything below 5,000 is what we like to talk about here. Automaton Priest is popular, but it's a little bit more expensive than we normally talk about. Rogue is the same thing. It's high dust cost. I don't see a lot of this being played, but if you're playing Rogue and you're not worried about dust cost and you do do have a lot of rogue cards, you're going to do pretty good with Wishing Rogue, Mining Rogue, and, you know, for a couple of weeks there, Rogue was just way the highest I seen. I think on Vicious Syndicate, it was just, the play rate on that was like 35%. It was huge. That's all I need to say with that. Shaman's nothing crazy. You know, Nature's good, Totem's good, Elemental's good. They're just more expensive than I used to talk about here. Warlock, you have two options. You have Sludge or you have Thaddeus. I'm not interested in playing either one of those. You also have Mining as well, excuse me. It's a little bit higher than 5,000 Dust, but there is options for you to play Warlock. I'm just not fans of Sludge. I'm not fans of the Thaddeus or the Chad Warlock, and I'm not fans of the Mining Warlock as well. And to go through the last one, it's Warrior. There has been a couple of Warrior decks. One was Control and one was just, I believe it's just like a traditional Warrior that were 50% or above win rates and low cost. Here's one here. You'll be able to find all those. There's a few decks we'll talk about based on the conversation I just had here, like Undead Priest. I pulled this one. It's 2880 Dust, and the win rate right now is 64.5%. It's Undead. It's Dark Bishop Benedictus. This one has ETC in it. Simple to pilot, simple to play. It is very good against a lot of the classes. Like, it's good against Hunter, it's good against Mages, it's good against other Priests. It's pretty good, well-rounded deck, and it's low cost, so that might be an option for you. To go over Mage, Elemental Mage, I have not played a lot of this. I think I played 2 or 3 games, but it looks fun. It's simple to pilot. It's just all elementals. And then the elementals, they just work really well with each other. With the cards coming out at the mini set, there's a lot of elemental synergy. So if you have some of these cards and you have this deck and you're looking to expand upon it, I think the mini set might be something to look at. Secret Mage is 2,440 Dust, and the win rate on this one is 62.6%, at least for the past couple of weeks or what have you. And it's a very strong deck. It's one that we've talked about a couple of times before. It's just spells and spells and spells and spells, and they're obviously secrets. Objection: when your opponent plays a minion, counter it. I think this is leaving when the core set is switched up, which is pretty good because I do not like this card. Objection is not my friend. And then listen, we got Treant Druid. There are so many options for Treant Druid that you can play. If you go through here and if you look at Druid and then look at Treant, look at the amount. I mean, there's just so many options here. The lowest cost decks to pilot right now, the most options of making a deck is Treant Druid, and the win rate is very good as well. It's at 67%, and this one's like 1,300 Dust, so you'll be able to get through where you need to climb. Remember, the mini set launches on Thursday, so things will change in the next few days. And then Dragon Druid as well. Dragon Druid's more expensive. I like the Dragon Druid more than I like the Treant Druid, but both of them are very fun. This one's 2,600 Dust, and I think the win rate is 66%. To me, I like this deck better because there's options in having sticky boards. With Treant Druids, yes, I know that the option of having sticky boards are there with the Death Rattle that creates more Treants, but they're very small. And it's very easy for opponents to just wipe out the board multiple times with the cards that they have. So I like Dragon better because it's just more sticky minions on the board. Unholy Death Knight, I mean, we've talked about this many times. Just build up your corpse collection, try to get it as high as possible, and then use Lord Marogar at the end turn. It's simple to pilot. This one has Murloc Tidehunter in it. That's what makes it so low cost. I'm sure there's other options there that you might want to play, but it's 2 bodies on board for 2 mana, so it's something to consider. And then this is the Aggro Demon Hunter I wanted to talk about. 63.4% with 3,920 Dust. And one of the things that came back, and I haven't seen it in a while, but it's coming back now, is the Illidari Inquisitor. And that's the 8 mana, 8/8 rush after your hero attacks an enemy. This attacks it too. This absolutely is understandable why it's called an aggro demon hunter. It's always been tough to kill that thing, and then it's real easy for you to have the ability to have your hero attacking face. So whatever your hero's at, and then this will do some damage. So that's a good option for you to go ahead and start playing if you're interested in playing Demon Hunter right now. I wanted to go over, I pulled all of the cards that are leaving. So, you know, when the core set switches, March of the Lich King, Murder at Castle Nathria, and Voyage to the Sunken City are leaving. And I just wanted to see what the popularity of the cards that are being played right now. Remember, it's based on the numbers that HS Replay finds. It's not a full representation. But look, Astalor is leaving, one of the most popular cards being played for the entire time it's been out. Even when it was nerfed, this card will be going away in a few months, so should be interesting to see what other cards are going to replace it. Sir Finley is leaving. That one's played a lot, 20% in decks. Aquatic form. This is being played right now, continues to be played. I don't think I've ever seen this not being played in any Druid decks. Prince Renethal, I'm really hoping that Prince Renethal is going to go into core, because I like the option of having the deck size to 40 and your starting health 35. I think the options there are very good. I like it. Nerubian Vizier, it's been played for forever. Natural Causes, okay, that's being played right now. In the Treant Druid, Serrated Bone Spike, I think I've had enough of seeing this card. Herald of Nature, no big deal. Plot of Sin, no big deal. Lingering Zombie, I don't see this being played as much, but it is being played. And then School Teacher. How many times have we seen School Teacher being played? It has been a lot for a long time across the board. It wasn't any specific deck. Scourge Illusionist, that's being played right now with Rogue. So that is going to be interesting to see that go away. And then Shadow of Demise as well. This card has been a pain in a lot of people's butts for a while now, so it'll be interesting to see when that one leaves. Okay, so one of the last things I want to talk about, and thanks to Hearthstone for putting this all together, we don't have a full set release yet of Delve into Deepholm, the mini set that's coming out on Thursday, but I'm wondering how impactful it's going to be to a budget player. I just wanted to talk about it briefly. It's always usually, in my opinion, a smart move to buy the mini set. You could buy it with gold. You do not have to spend actual real world money, so you can spend the gold and you have that for multiple options. A use case that I have is you only play 2 or 3 classes. You could sit there and get that for those 2 or 3 classes, and then if you wanted to, because you have no need to play those other classes, you could dust, so that's extra dust that you could use. It's just a well-rounded option for a low cost that you can, that you can purchase, and you'll have extra cards that you can play with. And some of them are very impactful. Okay, looking at Demon Hunter right now, I don't see anything that is going to swing the win rates higher. I just don't yet. That doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. We're still missing some of these cards. It's not a full representation yet, but the one that looks the most interesting right to me is Crimson Expanse, the location. Dual class location, it's going to be cool. I just don't see anything of any of these cards right now that it says, oh, yep, absolutely Demon Hunter is going to move much higher on the win rates. That's me personally. Druid right now with Treant and with Dragon, I don't see this being a huge deal as well. I think Pendant of Earth is the biggest opportunity there, and I think this one too, Shattered Reflection. So I'm wrong on this. These 2 cards are pretty good, pretty powerful. Choose a minion, add a copy to your hand, deck, and battlefield. That's a pretty impactful card. And it's getting to be used by Priest as well, but we won't talk about that. And then Pendant of the Earth. I think both of these are strong. I think this card right here, the Crystal Cluster, I think this is a pretty cool card. I don't know how it fit in the other decks. Like I said, right now, there's Treant and there's Dragon, and this throws down elementals. it gives you, I don't know if this is going to be a clean card that we would use. The other two, I'm not really caring about right now. Hunter, we don't have anything yet. We don't have any Death Knight cards yet. These two Mage cards, I don't see whatsoever. The Soul Freeze, maybe a tiny little bit. Freeze a minion and its neighbors, deal damage to your hero equal to the number frozen. I think that this one is just not going to be used. And the same thing with Chaos Creation. Deal 6 damage, summon a random 6-cost minion, destroy the bottom 6 cards of your deck. For Mage, I just do not see it at all. If I was playing Mage in any form, function, I would not use any of these cards right now. Paladin, not here yet. We should see some fun stuff with that. Priest this one's just broken. Shadow Word Steel. I think I've called it Shadow Word Disgusting or Shadow Word Gross or anything. It's just a gross card. Return an enemy minion to your hand. So whatever's on their side, you just sit there and use that, and it's 5 mana. This thing should be 27 mana, and like it says like an arm will come through to smack you in the mouth for playing this card. It's disgusting. And then Hidden Gem, all of these cards for Priest and the ones that are also dual class with Rogue have opportunities to be played. I think Priest stocks will go up a little bit. Hidden Gem, I think, is going to be interesting for Rogue as well. Stealth at the end of your turn, restored 2 health to all friendly characters. I think that's going to be pretty broken. Rogue, it's got the Shadestone Skulker. It's fine, no problem. I think this one's kind of cool because of the Rogue weapon synergy that's been around for a little bit. There might be something there, definitely for Wild. And then, like I said, Shadow Word Steel, return an enemy minion to your hand. It's gross. It's gross. Fool's Gold, too. Get a random Golden Pirate and Elemental from other classes. I don't see it being an, oh my goodness, let's try it, but I see it being tested a lot. Nothing for Shaman yet. And then Warlock, I don't know. Maybe I'm not a huge fan of the Warlock right now with those 2 pieces, but I don't see any of these cards besides Gloomstone, which is a taunt, and the choose one, discard 2 cards, or destroy one of your mana crystals. A 4 mana 6/8 that you'll just have to forge it and do neither of those 2 is pretty big. I will agree we're going to see this much more. And then this Battle Cry and Death Rattle Elementium Geode, I don't see it yet. That doesn't mean anything yet. Listen, I don't know. I'm not playing enough of Warlock to say, but I don't see any of these besides the Gloomstone Guardian being a huge jump. Crimson Expanse, I've already said that this card is going to see some play in some way, shape, or form. And then the Deep Miner Bran. It's going to be interesting with this one. This one's going to shake things up. The Battle Cries trigger twice for the rest of the game. So all the Ignises that you could do. So Ignis would be 2, right? You'd be able to have this thing shoot out 2 weapons. You get like a low cost where you can play right now, and then that 10 mana one. Should be interesting to see. And then the neutral cards, they will be played. Elementals, we'll be having some sort of discussion with elementals across the board, especially with this one. If your deck has new duplicates, discover an elemental to summon, add the others to your hand. That's pretty cool. And then double the stats of all elementals in your hand and deck. Therazane, there will be a lot of elemental synergy. So I will do a full conversation once all of the cards are revealed, and that's really it for this week. I will see you in the next video, and have a good time on your climb.